I've tested 20 nutrition apps over the past 2 years, and MacroFactor is definitely my favorite by far, by a long shot. However, like any diet tracking app, it can initially feel kind of overwhelming until you get used to the layout. So if you've just downloaded MacroFactor or you're thinking about it, I want to share how to use it properly and some features that make a really big difference when tracking your nutrition. Now, if you have not downloaded MacroFactor yet, I do have a gift for you. You can extend your free trial by 1 week if you use the code FEASTGOOD when you sign up, which is going to give you 2 extra weeks for free instead of just 1. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you're already sold on using MacroFactor. So I'm not going to discuss who should use it, who should not use the app, the pros and the cons of the app, how MacroFactor compares with other apps. But if you would like that information, then all you have to do is watch my in-depth review on MacroFactor, which you can view right here. I also have linked it in the video description. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to demonstrate how to start using MacroFactor from scratch by setting up a new account. And I'm gonna use dummy numbers for the demo just as an example of what it would look like for someone who's just starting. Since I already have an app that is customized to me, it's gonna be an example of what you can put. And of course, you wanna put in the information that's relevant to you. First, you're gonna log in. Once inside the app, you can move to the setting up your profile, and you can connect to Fitbit, Apple Health, Health Connect to extract information like your body weight. You must then answer a few basic questions about yourself. So this is going to include obviously gender, your birth date, your height, your current weight, your body fat estimate. For this, you can look at the visuals that the app provides to estimate this. For the sake of this example, I'm going to set up the profile for the goal of gaining weight, and then I'm going to show you how you can change your goal weight to loss if you want to later. Next, I'm going to input how often I exercise, so 0 to more than 7 times per week, how active I am, sedentary, highly active, measured as, the amount of steps you take in a day, my experience level with cardio, and experience with lifting. And from there, the app is going to estimate your initial calorie expenditure. If you think the app's estimate is off and you have a rough idea of the energy expenditure that you usually have in a day, you can enter the value as a starting point. And while setting up the app also teaches you a few basics about nutrition, which I think is really nice. These small nuggets of information can really add up, and they really do provide a clear picture of how nutrition works. Then it's time to set a goal. Okay, so there's lose, maintain, or gain body weight. I'm going to set it for gain. You can set a weight target. You can pick how quickly you want to get there. The app is going to provide some recommendations for your optimal weight gain or weight loss rates, but ultimately it gives you the freedom to decide. So that's really nice as well. Finally, time to set up your diet by answering a few more questions. So here is where you can put your preferred diet style. So if you want, well balanced, if you want to do keto, if you want to do low carb, low fat. Next, we can put in our calorie floor for the smallest amount of calories the app recommends if you want to lose weight. I recommend sticking with the standard floor and then choosing the low floor if you have extensive dieting and fat loss experience. I really love this feature because it means that the app is never going to recommend calories that are too low and potentially put you in that crash diet territory. So this means that you're less likely to feel excessive hunger or be at risk for significant muscle loss. And that's really important. Next is what type of training that I'm willing to do. So I'm going to put lifting for this one. I want to shift calories, in other words, having higher, lower calorie days, and then what your preferred protein intake is. So once you're done with this process, takes approximately 10 minutes, you're gonna have access to your dashboard, which is gonna look like this. And as a minimalist, I don't really mind apps that offer a lot of options so long as I can stick to the features that I like and not get frustrated with things that I don't need or I can't understand. MacroFactor is brilliant because it allows me to do the bare minimum to get the most out of it, which what's better than that? At the same time, it never stops me from diving into more advanced features if I want to. So let's discuss how to use MacroFactor without feeling overwhelmed. And then I'm going to talk about the app's fancier features, which are sometimes easy to miss. One thing that sets MacroFactor apart from other nutritional tracking apps is the built-in coaching. So as a user, you're going to get 3 options. You can pick Coached, which means the app does all the calculations for you and adjusts your calorie and macronutrient targets every week based on weight trends. This option, I would say, is definitely ideal if you're not really sure how to adjust your nutrition as you gain weight or lose weight, or if you just simply prefer the app to do the thinking for you, which that sounds pretty good to me. The second one you can choose is Collaborative, where you set your macronutrient targets and the app adjusts your calorie budget based on your goal and progress. This option is good if you want to maintain some control but still take advantage of MacroFactor's built-in coaching. Then the third option is Manual, where you're going to set your calorie and macronutrient targets and manually adjust them when you see fit. I would say this option option is really only best if you're very experienced in macro tracking and you prefer to control everything yourself. You're going to have the opportunity to pick a coaching style during the initial setup process. So once you choose that, you can actually go back and change the style if you felt like you weren't paying attention or you want to change it at any point. You can do so by navigating to strategy in the bottom right, and then you're going to scroll to edit goal by clicking the plus sign, new goal, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But then you're going to click update program and select your preferred coaching style. Now, I've tested MacroFactor extensively and its algorithm is incredibly accurate. So you can rest assured that you'll get fantastic guidance and week-to-week updates on the coached and collaborative program styles, just as you would from a real nutrition coach. Other apps that I've tested, they offer ongoing guidance, but none provide such a high level of coaching as MacroFactor. Now it's time to log your first meal. So logging your first meal, very straightforward. You just click on the food log, make sure it's set to today on top, which it should be by default. The app is going to present you with several different options of finding food. You can use the barcode or the label scanning option. You can also search through MacroFactor's very robust database. And then you can use the quick add feature where you manually put the calories, macros, and the meal's name. Or you can input a recipe or foods from your library, which you can gradually add to over time, which is also nice. Building up recipes that you use often. There's also AI Describe, which is technically a fancier feature, so we're going to talk about that later. As a new user, I recommend using the search option and just finding the foods in MacroFactor's database. There is an unbelievable variety of foods and beverages. Each has an in-depth nutritional breakdown, and then the app is going to automatically calculate the calories and macronutrients for each meal, which is going to immediately show up in the dashboard where you can track the number of calories and grams of protein, carbs, and fats that you've had for the day. The fastest way to record meals with multiple foods is to use the plate feature. So to do this, you're going to tap on the large white icon at the bottom, and then you're going to tap quick add, then your personal library of foods and recipes, and AI Describe. You can add foods, you can click on add for all the food items. All the food items are going to appear on the top right, and then you can click on that section to easily review your meal and its nutritional breakdown. So once you're done, you just tap log foods and you can record everything at once and count it as a single meal or snack. You can also choose to use the barcode scanner. The barcode and label scanners, of course, these are not new. I mean, you might have used them on other nutritional apps, which MyFitnessPal pioneered back in the day. First, you're going to go to the food log and you click on the small plus icon next to the time, and then you just select scan on top. It's so easy. Then you point your camera down the barcode or labels, and that's it. Both work really well, and they make it easier to log packaged foods. One thing that I love about MacroFactor is that it allows me to create my own library of foods and recipes. So the longer I've used the app, the easier it is to log my meals and stay on top of my calories and macros. To add a recipe, all you gotta do is navigate to the large plus icon at the bottom, and then you're gonna select new recipe, and then you can include all the relevant details, such as the name, the total weight, serving, prep, and cook time, and a description, which is optional. But you can then find the saved recipe by clicking on the same plus size icon, and then you can click on recipes. To log a saved food, you just go through your usual food logging workflow by clicking on the food log. You can search for the food and then swipe to the library section where you can see your saved recipes and click the small plus icon to log any one of them. Since MacroFactor is a nutrition logging app with coaching capabilities, you must also log your body weight at least once per week, though it's recommended that you log your weight at least 3 times per week for it to track weight loss trends and just more accurately update your nutritional targets each week. You can log your daily weight by clicking the large plus icon at the bottom and the weight icon. You can also input your estimated body fat percentage if your scale tracks that. While it's not mandatory, progress photos and body measurements, they can really provide a lot of insight on how your body composition changes over time. So you must go into the settings to enable the progress photos and body measurements that you want to track. You don't need to track all the available ones, just the ones that you want. But to navigate to this, you're just gonna click more on the bottom right, then you're gonna scroll down to features and settings section and navigate to body metrics. As a new user, you can also scroll to the bottom of the dashboard and tap the body metric widget, which is then gonna take you to the menu where you can configure your settings for the first time. Then you can select which progress photos that you want to add, which measurements you want to track, and then just save the changes. And once you're done, you can easily upload photos and body measurements by clicking the large plus icon on the top right, then just upload your progress photo or body photos and put in the body measurements, then just hit save. MacroFactor happens to automatically log your meals, and the app is going to automatically calculate everything and add it to your daily total. The second thing I want to point out is you don't have to complete days like other apps. MacroFactor is going to automatically consider days complete once the date changes. That said, you can return to older dates to add meals or modify existing ones in case you've forgotten to log something. I like this because it removes the stress that I've felt with other apps in the past where I would have to finish logging foods and complete the day, even if I'm out with friends or I'm busy and I just didn't feel like logging my food at that time. To do this though, all you have to do is click food log, tap on today on the top, and then select the date on the calendar that you want to modify. So you can do it even if it was last week. Once you do a week of logging, you'll get to check in, which is found under strategy at the bottom. MacroFactor will provide nutritional recommendations based on your nutrition and weight trends for the upcoming week. You can then accept or decline the changes and then just keep going. If you decline a check-in, you can manually check in whenever you want to get back on regular check-in and cadence. Aside from that, you can gradually add recipes and custom foods to your library. You can upload more progress photos as you go. You can include body measurements to track your body composition. Now that we've gone over the basics, let's review some of the app's lesser known features. So I actually had the opportunity with my team to speak with Greg Nichols, who is one of the app's co-founders, and he provided a pretty comprehensive overview and gave us some really great input. The first thing is weight trends. So you want to go to your dashboard and scroll to the insights and analytics section where you're going to find weight trends. There, you're going to see all kinds of information regarding your body weight and how it's likely to change based on your current trajectory. So I find that really fascinating. This section focuses on your body weight without mixing that data with other things such as your current or previous energy expenditure. And as Greg puts it, expenditure gets most of the attention, but just being able to remove most of the noise from your weight data is really helpful for a lot of people. The second thing is your ability to prepare recipes. I briefly mentioned the recipes above, but this feature bears repeating, especially for cooks who like to experiment in the kitchen like me. MacroFactor allows you to store detailed recipes and include information like your ingredient list, your prep time, your cook time, a recipe description, and you can even add step-by-step instructions so that you remember for next time. MacroFactor automatically calculates the weight per serving based on individual ingredients, and it provides the best nutritional breakdown with calories, macronutrients, and micronutrients. So once you've saved the recipe in your library, you can find this by clicking on the large plus icon and then tapping recipes. Then you can select a specific recipe and click prepare, and the app is going to instantly pull up the cooking instructions that you've saved while recording the recipe. Another interesting feature is recipe within a recipe. This feature allows you to use recipes you've already saved as ingredients for new ones. For example, if you have some leftover food from a recipe, you can then use that to cook something new, and MacroFactor will handle all the nutritional calculations. To use this feature, you just want to click on that white plus icon at the bottom, navigate to new recipe, and as you're inputting the details, just click on plus and then add ingredients, and then go to library at the top, then click on recipes and tap the small plus icon on the right to add one of your saved recipes as ingredients for the new one. And the fact that you're able to add one recipe as an ingredient to another is really awesome. Another unique feature I want to point out is custom micronutrient goals. Of course, most apps allow users to set custom macronutrient targets for a long time, but custom targets for vitamins and minerals, that's not something you see in every app. And if you're someone who has unique needs for certain micronutrients like sodium, iodine, vitamin D, you can adjust the goals by navigating to the Nutrient Explorer, then scroll down to the bottom of the dashboard. Then you're going to select which micronutrients you'd like to track. From there, you can pin up to 8 nutrients or metrics to your dashboard. You can also customize your micronutrient targets to go with the recommendations provided by the app. Your pinned nutrients are now going to show up in the dashboard. Another cool feature is dark mode. Now, some people might not care about this, but I think it's nice to have. You can activate it by clicking on more on the bottom right, navigating to theme, and then choosing your preference. Another great feature is full unit support. MacroFactor is incredibly inclusive because it supports all units for most products. This makes it a lot easier to log your meals and add ingredients to recipes. For example, if you can log a particular food in ounces, you can also log it in grams. I love this freedom because I prefer to use grams and milliliters to log foods and beverages, and MacroFactor eliminates the hassle of converting units on Google to log my meals. Another feature that I briefly touched on before is AI Describe, and this feature allows you to quickly describe what you're eating through text or speech, and the app just does the rest for you. For example, I used my speech to text feature to input some foods that I had eaten, and the app just easily understood what I told it and calculated the nutritional information for the meal. This is a really convenient way to log meals when you're on the go because you can just simply dictate what you eat. Then you click find foods and then you go about your day. It's like a voice note, but for your meal logging. Finally, let's talk about personalizing MacroFactor. I asked Greg if he had any extra tips for personalizing it above and beyond what I've already mentioned, and here are his suggestions. The first thing he said was to set up your plate banner builder. The plate banner builder is a customization page that allows you to adjust what things you see when logging your foods. You can navigate there by clicking more, then you're going to go to food logger, go to plate banner builder, and from there you can configure how you want to see the meal logging section. The second thing he said was to configure your shortcuts in Toolbar. MacroFactor allows you to configure your shortcuts in Toolbar to log your foods just a little bit faster. You can click on the large plus icon at the bottom and then tap configure shortcuts and Toolbar. Then go to the Toolbar designer. Here you can pick from a lot of different options. Another thing you can configure is your food's timeline. The food timeline section of the app allows you to customize how things are going to appear when you log your meals. To access these options, you're going to tap on more and then food timeline. And there you're going to see all sorts of different options. You can also click on the go to timeline tile builder and access even more customization options for what information to display and how you want it displayed. And lastly, you just want to set the right goals. The beauty of MacroFactor is that it allows you to set goals during the setup process and then adjust them afterwards if necessary. To adjust your goal, you're just going to go to strategy in the bottom right, and from there you're going to see an edit goal button, and then you just adjust the speed of your preferred weight gain or loss, and the app is going to automatically adjust your calorie and macro targets. However, it's important to consider the pros and cons of each goal that you set. If you set a goal to lose, let's say like 3 pounds a week, don't be surprised if your calorie targets are going to be really low, because most people on average, it's healthier to lose just maybe 1 pound a week. You can also create a new program if necessary. You can personalize your MacroFactor experience even more if you create a new program if you're not entirely satisfied with the current one that you're on. So this means going through a partial setup process where you answer just a few questions again. So what is your preferred diet type again? You can choose maybe this time you want to go on keto. Maybe this time you want to go with a more balanced diet. What is your preferred calorie floor? What type of training do you want to do? Do you want to switch it up? Do you want to do more weightlifting instead of more cardio? Would you like to shift calories or get an even distribution? And then what's your preferred protein intake? Now, all these questions are for a coached program, which I talked about before, where the app does all the calculations for you. Of course, you can always pick a collaborative style program where then you can set your macro targets a little more freely. But if you're feeling stuck, don't be afraid to create a new program. If you want a different mix of fat and carbs, or if you feel like you want to set your protein targets higher, this is a great way to be able to control things and be able to switch up your daily nutrient targets. Another customization tool is configuring your shortcuts. As I mentioned before, MacroFactor allows you to pin up to 8 things to track in your dashboard. So there's a lot of things you can put on there. And this could be your calories, your macros, several different micronutrients, just micronutrients, your water intake, your fiber, amino acids, fatty acids. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. MacroFactor is really flexible in this way, and you can get a lot of value even if you need to track certain nutrients for health reasons. To configure what the app shows on the home screen, you're going to scroll down to Nutrient Explorer, and then you're going to click Explore All, and you're going to tap on the gear icon on the top right, and then you're going to see Pin to the Dashboard selection and a button to edit it. Then just tap on it, pin it, or remove the metrics to get your personalized dashboard view. I hope that this video was helpful in teaching you how to set up your MacroFactor account and maybe learn about some features that you didn't know about before. If you have any questions or if you want some more information, make sure you drop us a message down in the comments section, and I'll see you next time.